All right, it's just gone 7 o'clock. Of course, you're watching the full view. We are out here in Westbury. The situation remains tense on the ground. It's been a day of running battles between community members protesting against gangsterism, protesting up against high levels of crime in this community, and of course, the scourge of drugs. And many of community members here are asking for the police minister to come directly to address their concerns. They're saying the standoff is not going to end until the senior leaders in government like Minister Bheki Cele come and deal with their concerns. And I'm joined now by my colleague Hitekani who's been covering most of the action for most of the day. I mean, as I said, the situation remains pretty tense overnight. It's calmed down a little bit, but again, it's been a day of a lot of activity and a lot of frustration from many of the residents we've been speaking to.
Look, Bongani, if you came early this morning, the situation was quite tense, to and fro's between the community and the police. At times, it would calm down, and you'd think that it's ended and the police have finally calmed the situation. But it would spur up again, just showing the amount of frustration and the depth of how frustrated the community is, and it promises to continue tomorrow as well.
There isn't a single area, just maybe to paint a picture for our viewers, there isn't a single area where this action is located. It seems to almost arise sporadically, almost organically in different pockets of Westbury.
Unpredictable, Bongani. At one moment you'd be on one side of the street. I mean, it started this morning at the hospital, and it moved up on Fuel Road, and we're here between Fuel and Hay, and it moves where police are. You'd find that as long as the police have a strong control in that area, that the community would move to another area, and that block roads and burn tires. So quite sporadic throughout the day.
And of course, the call really throughout the day has been, we want Bheki Cele, we want the police minister, and they've been saying nothing less will do.
I mean, Bongani, the community feels neglected, and they feel like the police that are currently officiating and the law enforcement in the area isn't doing anything for them. Seeing as that the police aren't doing much, they want the highest person who's going to speak to them and give them a solution to the situation, and that is, of course, Minister Bheki Cele. And they say they don't want anyone else. We had promises of the provincial commissioner Deliwe Delange coming here to speak to them, but it doesn't look like that happened. She did, however, speak to the family, but we do know that the community only wants the minister.
All right, that's the situation in terms of what's been happening. Hitekani Makwete has been covering the situation for most of the day. The latest news we have is it does appear that there's been some commitment for the National Police Minister Bheki Cele to come here tomorrow at around midday. We'll see how that pans out. We'll see how that develops. But I'm going to invite another community leader, Darylene, to come forward and address just really the sense of frustration that so many community members here feel, which is really what we've been seeing for the last couple of days.
Yes, absolutely, Bongani. Our viewers need to understand, and South Africa needs to understand, that this is not something that just happened today. This goes back many, many years where these communities have been neglected. The reality is, tomorrow I'm listening to everyone saying that the minister is coming. The minister is coming to do what in Westbury? To once again, that has happened in all the other communities, just listen to the pleas and the cries of the community. By now, the world knows what is happening in Westbury, in Eldorado Park, and in Annandale. What we want to see happening in our communities is tangible results. Come tomorrow with an implementation plan. Come to tell us that this is what we are going to do as government. Don't come and listen. Don't come and tell us that you don't know what has been happening here. We've had the president in Eldorado Park. We've had ministers all over. We have been neglected. We've had the MMC of Joburg launching the LDAC last year I think it was in March. To date, no meetings have been held. There's no development. This is not just a SAPS problem. Where is community safety? Where is Department of Social Development? Where is economic development? We need all of those departments. They all need to be here. Just having policing is not going to solve our issues.
Is it your sense that in a way leaders, both in terms of the politicians and within the police, have basically thumbed their fingers at this community by not coming to address them? And where does it end?
Yes, definitely. I mean, this started on Thursday already. To leave it to get to this point, did they really think that community was going to sit back after a mother has been gunned down with her child next to her? Do they honestly expect us to fold our arms and say, okay, it's okay when you are ready? We have given them 4 days to respond and they haven't responded. Of course you're going to have people taking out and going out to the streets. This is us hurting. It is inhumane to treat a community like this. It is evil to shoot back at residents. They were protesting peacefully this morning. I've watched policemen lay under their trucks and fire rubber bullets at people. I've watched policemen fire rubber bullets at our residents' homes. Who's going to fix those windows? I just got here early on and I already had tear gas in my face. Why are they doing that? Take the same resources that you are using to disperse the crowds and go after the drug dealers. Take the same resources that you have deployed here today to develop these communities. Loads and loads, so much money has been put into what is happening here. Take it and direct it somewhere else.
Right, you've heard it for yourselves. That's really the cry of this community. They're demanding leadership and they're saying, don't just come because now it seems to be a flashpoint. It seems to be a hotspot. They're saying you've got to deal with the systemic issues that have given rise to the protests that we are seeing. So we're out here in Westbury trying to get the views of the community, trying to get a sense of what it is people are really, really frustrated about. The promise is for Bheki Cele to come here tomorrow at midday. Whether or not that's going to make the tensions go away remains to be seen, of course, and it will depend entirely on what plan he gives this community. But really the sense here is that people feel neglected. They are used as voting fodder, and when it's not election season, they say the political leaders go away and they don't want to deal with their problems. We'll have to leave it there for now because, of course, back to you, Francis, as you look at the book that's just come out that paints a picture of how it is that so many of these communities find themselves neglected and unheard.